What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hindsight Hacking, and this is episode number 3 that we are doing live right here in the group. Ron, I'm pretty stoked. How about you?
I am absolutely excited. I cannot wait to talk to our next guest, and I love the new format.
Yes, we're taking a note out of the Biz Bros book, and we're making it frictionless, and this is going live, and whatever mistakes we make. But
right.
Today we have a very cool guest that has a similar story like you and I, Ron. Had a dead-end job, and in 2019 was able to shift, and he's been a lot more successful than us since then. But I am super stoked to hear his story. And everyone, what do you say? Let's get to it. Have you ever wondered how highly successful entrepreneurs think?
So did we. So we asked hundreds of entrepreneurs a very simple question. If they had perfect hindsight, what advice would they give themselves?
I am Corey Carter.
And I'm Ron Cool.
Join us on our journey, implementing and sharing all of our learnings while we hack our hindsight along with our guest hindsight to give us all better foresight.
Listen along the way as we find and unlock their secrets that made them successful through hidden traffic, joint ventures, and much, much more. This is Hindsight Hack.
All right, we are live, and our very special guest, I hopefully don't mess this up, Mario Pajaj. Almost got it.
I love it.
All right, Mario, today, he actually, for those of you that don't know, he is a multiple six-figure coach. He helps people create their high-ticket offers, all about the high-ticket CEO. And honestly, the story I can't wait to hear a little bit about. In March of 2019, he had a dead-end job that he left. With that first same month, he made $10K. And last year, around that time, Ron and I also had some dead-end jobs. And, we more recently left them versus you. But yeah, definitely, I can't wait to hear all about it, Mario. I'm so thankful that you've chosen to join us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me.
No, I'm super stoked because I feel we're on a journey, like running behind you. You know what I mean? But for the people that don't know who you are, can you take a little bit to just kind of tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So, like you guys kind of introduced at the beginning, I had a job where I was a mortgage banker for about 3 years before I came into online marketing. And I had spent, I would say, about 6 to 7 years, before I got into marketing, just in corporate sales. Like I sold legal services, I sold financial products, I sold mortgages, I sold vacuums of all things. And I got tired of pushing other people's stuff, which I may not have agreed with the quality of it or, all the ethics behind it and all that. And I just got sick of it, and I wanted to do my own thing, come out and teach people what I knew, and serve them the way that I wanted to, without somebody telling me no. And so I came into this One Funnel Away challenge in March, didn't know anything about marketing, just knew I had something I wanted to teach, put together an offer, launched it to crickets for the first week. Didn't know if I was going to make it or not. And then on the 26th of March, like bills were coming up like in just a few days. And then the first few sales started rolling in at like $500 a pop. And it just started to snowball after that. And, 10K months became 20K months, became 40K months. We had a 100K month in February and March of this year. And it's just kind of snowballed, So I'm very grateful for all the people I've met along the way that have helped me and mentored me and coached me. And honestly, I wouldn't be here without them. So a lot of the credit goes to them.
So good. So One Funnel Away, that again, that was the exact path that started Ron and I in the online world. So, but he and I were building something that was more in-person coaching, live seminars, like all this stuff that was very much, in the city of Denver, Colorado. And that was kind of the extent of things we would go and do. And until we discovered the One Funnel Away. So tell us, like, through that process, you got into the OFA and you were like, you know what, like, here's my notice, I'm out, I'm doing my own thing. Like, or were you like, how did you make that transition so fast like that?
I didn't really give a notice. The OFA started on that month of February. I just come back from the 10X growth conference that I was at earlier that year. I went there to buy the $3,000 package from Russell. I didn't even know they sold it online. Like, I had no idea. So I was like, I think I have to go to Miami to get this deal. I went to Miami to get the deal. Spent $2K getting there. Spent $3K. I spent about $5K when I was there, and came back. And I bought the $3,000 package before I ever did the 14-day trial. And as a result of buying that thing, they gave us this thing called the One Funnel Away Challenge. I was like, might as well jump into this thing. So I started that on the 24th of February. And that same week on Friday, which was the 1st of March, I didn't even go to work. The belief week just shifted everything in me. I was just like, I can do this. I see a way to do it. These guys know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to trust this process and give myself, 30 days to make it happen. And I believed in myself. I knew that I could make it happen if I really tried. I had that self-confidence going in because I'd done it many times in the past where I've left a job and knew I'd find another one in 30 days with like no prep. And yeah, I just kind of left on that Friday. I didn't go to work. I just sent him an email like, hey, I'm coming in tomorrow on Saturday to pick up my things. Have a good one. Peace. That was it.
Love it. Okay. I love everything that you were talking about. So the OFA, it was funny because Corey got involved in it before I did. And he was like you. He was like, this is the way we have to go. I was like, no, not yet. But when I got involved, Steve Larson was one of the coaches.
Yeah.
And I got hooked when he started talking about like stories, and he was on our show, and that story that he told about the book that wasn't true.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Like I was seriously ready to buy the stupid book. And he's like, no, don't buy it. And I was like, why not? He's like, I made all that up. I was like, what?
Right. That's what got me. That was the day that got me.
Yeah. That same here. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Vacuum. Was it Kirby?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. We are
I was
same
a field
people.
manager for a Kirby office.
We are same people. My friend started to sell Kirby's, and I was like, dude, if they're so good, why don't we just like start cleaning office buildings like with the Kirby's? Like we'll just buy a couple Kirby's and go clean the office buildings. And he's like, why can't we just sell Kirby's? Because I don't want to sell Kirby's. I want to like make money just cleaning stuff. He didn't do it, but anyway.
Yeah.
So
I had the same idea. I was like, people should just hire me for like $1,000 to clean their office.
Right.
This thing's so good.
That's hilarious. Okay, so OFA, like I said, Corey got it. What did you do like right after OFA? Because I know Corey and I we hit a couple stumbling blocks like running out of it, but
more like squirreled all over the place.
Yeah, there was so much good stuff. We're like, oh, we need that. Oh, we need that. Then we went to FHL and we're like, oh, we need like all of that stuff. And the squirrel factor was crazy.
Yeah. Well, thankfully I was, I didn't know enough to have the squirrel factor. Like I thought that this was like the only training on the internet to learn marketing. So I was like, I'm going to learn this thing. And during the OFA, like during that month, I just religiously did each day. Like I was up for 16 hours. I worked twice as long at the marketing stuff than I did at my actual job. I was like 16 hours, wake up. First thing I do is check in. What's the homework for the day? What's the video? What do I got to do? And then just iterated on that stuff until I got it right. And wasn't distracted by anything else. Like I didn't know anything about Facebook marketing. I didn't know any of that stuff. Like my Facebook was dead for like most of that month until I realized like, oh, that's going to be traffic. Okay. So let's start publishing. Let's start doing this stuff. I was just hyper active in the group, because for me, I didn't have a plan B. This was plan A and the only plan, and when you're that like singular in what you're pursuing, it's very easy to not get distracted because there's nothing else I was doing. I had no other responsibilities. I had nobody else that was checking in on me. That was like, hey, you should be at work. You got to do this. You got to do that. I was directing my own day. So being singular was one of the things that helped me a lot. And so I just followed the path all 30 days. I just did the whole thing. And there was, like I said, there's nothing else to be distracted by. After the OFA, I still continued to sell that product for a little bit. It was like a little mini course teaching people how to pay off a house super fast, something I learned when I was selling mortgages. Mm-hmm. After that, I learned about affiliate marketing, and I kind of got into that. And during the time that I was doing the OFA and starting to learn how to do online marketing, I didn't realize I was publishing every day, but I was like just asking questions and sharing what was going on each day in the group, and sometimes on my profile. And I wasn't aware of this, but I had built up a little bit of an audience that I didn't know was there until my friend told me to like start a Facebook group. And she's like, dude, you should start a group. There's tons of people that comment on your stuff. You could have like 50 members, in a couple weeks, and that'd be great because that's a warm audience. I was like, oh, cool. That sounds awesome. So I started a group, and the second I launched the group, without even doing a promo post, in the first 36 hours, I had 300 members in the group. Wow. And I was like, I don't even know what to do with all these people, but they're here. So I just started publishing in the group, going live. And then with that affiliate offer, it was the KBB. I don't know if you guys knew about that thing, but I bought it during the pre-launch when they hadn't made it an offer yet. I went through it. I was like, this is awesome. I could totally sell this. And then I just kind of started going live about it, just showing people what was in it because I had early access. I'd already paid for it. But they were launching on the 1st of May. And when I started going live about it, like people started paying attention. And I was terrified of going live. The first time I went live, it was like 2 minutes and I turned it off. I was like, oh. But I have this thing where like I just relentlessly go at something until it becomes not a fear anymore. So I went live 3-4 times a day, every day, until eventually it just felt normal. And then when that thing launched, I ended up doing 14 sales of a $1,000 commission on the first day, which was nuts. So I went from like a 5-figure month to a 5-figure day within like 30 days.
That is perfect. So takeaway from that right now, be relentless when you go all in, right? Focus, go all in, and until you achieve the desired result. So walk us through then. Now you've hit the 5-figure month, you've hit the 5-figure day, and then you told us over the course of the remainder of the following 12 months, there was a 6-figure month. Mm-hmm. How did you? I guess let me back up a little bit. How did you figure out where you wanted to go? Right, like it takes a while, and that's like Ron and I were like, we want to serve this person, that person, right? And you're full coaching of high ticket coaching, right? Like, how did you find yourself into that led to your 6-figure month?
For me, it was I'm pretty slow at things, and I'm pretty slow at noticing things that are happening before they happen. So when I was hitting those 5-figure months and the 5-figure day and all this stuff, and I was doing affiliate marketing for a little while, I had a ton of people just asking me like, how the hell are you doing all this? How is this working? And I was just relentless. I was just like, I'm posting every day, going live every day, sharing my journey and selling products that I believe in and helping people when they buy it. Like if somebody had a question about the KBB, I would go and find the answer for them. So I was serving people and doing all this for free for a while, whether they were my affiliate on the thing or not. And that was just, I was just modeling what my friends were doing. Like Doug was one of my friends back then. He was serving people for free in his group. He had a ton of people in his group. Alex Elliott was one of my friends back then. They still are my friends now. I'm not saying we're not friends anymore. But like, these are people I'm like, these guys are making it. These guys are awesome. I want to be like them. So I just started emulating what they were doing. Eventually people wanted to hop on calls with me to get some help. They're like, because we just had a bunch of chats back and forth. So I like opened up my calendar one month. This was like in July of last year. And I was like, for the next week, if you need any help with anything, just book a time on my calendar. I just want to kind of get everything off, out of the way. And I had like 20 something people book times on that calendar. And I just hopped on like 20 coaching calls, each one from an hour to 2 hours long for an entire week, and just served my face off. And I was exhausted. I could barely speak. And something interesting happened. They were like, I want to keep working with you. I want you to keep helping me. Can I pay you? And I was like, well, I don't really have an offer, but I guess, let me come up with something, and then I'll get back to you when I do. And that was like my first coaching offer just was born out of like, I didn't have any desire to sell one. People just wanted it, because I was doing it for free anyways. They were just like, I would like to continue this and not just have it be a 1 week thing where you do it once in a while. I want it to be like a regular thing that we do. So I launched my first coaching program back in September of last year. And it was just like, whoever wanted to work with me and pick my brain for stuff, let's do it for 60 days. It was one-on-one. There was no aim or direction to it. It was very intense. I did like 4 hours a week with each person. I sold it for $4K because I realized like I only want to work with like 10 people, and to maintain my like 20K months at that time, I was like, 4K is the right price. 10 people, 40,000 total over 2 months, and it was weird because there was a bunch of different people in there. So there was like no target audience. I didn't do that part right. One of the guys I helped quit his job in 45 days, replaced his 6-figure income with 6-figure online income. One of the guys was already at 300K a month, and he just wanted help like getting into the online world because he was all physical with the call center and the big office and selling physical products. And I kind of helped him do that transition. So it was kind of all over the place. And then I started to narrow down like what I was actually really good at teaching, which was high ticket sales, because that's what I've been doing for years. And that turned into high ticket offers because I learned how to create offers as well that sold. And over time, I learned more about marketing, automations, paid marketing, delivery. Not so great on the operations part still, but everything else, I've just gotten better and better over time. And I'm a relentless learner too. Like I spend a lot of time just listening and reading to books and podcasts and courses, just trying to understand more and more of like what works in this industry. So it's like learn, do, teach over and over and over.
Right. No, I love that. I think why you were so successful, and I've said this multiple times actually this week, so it's kind of weird that you brought this up, but you were so successful, I feel, because you served with zero expectation to make money.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel people understand if you're doing something to make money, and you don't you actually don't have their best interest in mind whatsoever doing it that way. But the way you were doing it, you're just trying to help people.
Yeah.
And then you're surprised because people want to give you money. Right. And very similar what happened with Corey and I. All of a sudden people were giving us money and we're like, okay, I guess we have to do something right now. But I love the other piece that you talked about where you'll learn something, and Corey and I use this in our coaching all the time. Learn something. Best way to retain it is to go train someone else how to do it.
Right.
And then put it into action. Right. So once you got your that 40,000 a month out of the way, did you say, hey, that's what I'm going to keep doing? Did that feel like that was what you wanted to keep doing? Or did you pivot again? Or did you just add stuff?
Well, I knew I wanted to keep coaching. That month that I did 40K, I ended up joining a 7K program myself to just kind of learn how to create a group coaching offer because I didn't even know that was the thing. I thought all coaching was one-on-one. And then the next month I joined a $30,000 program that was a year long to teach me more on like the delivery and operations and more of the long-term marketing. And I joined all these programs kind of with the intent to like learn it all, implement, what I thought would be best for me. Because you can't just implement everything. You pick and choose. That's how you don't get overwhelmed. And then if something worked, I would go and reteach it the way that I did it to my students. If it didn't work, I'd throw it away. And so as I launched my group coaching program, I launched that at like 1 to 2K. Then it was 3K. And then we did like a joint venture type coaching program where it was like Alex Elliott, me, Brooke Evans, Marianne Doherty. Like there was like 5 or 6 of us coaches all in one program, and we sold that anywhere between 5 and 7K. And that's when we did our 6-figure month. And the breakdown of the numbers for that was like we did outreach at the beginning. So we sold the first 10 spots just through private messages, no launch posts, none of that stuff. We just knew like 10 people that we definitely wanted to work with, that we saw a lot of potential in, they were active members of our audience, and we wanted to serve them, and we offered it to them first. Then when we had those 10 in, we made it public. We like opened it up, and it was like 140 conversations turned into about 27 sales calls, which turned into 20 sales. And that's a very high conversion rate between calls and sales. And that's the benefit of just having a really warm audience that trusts you, that knows you, that likes you, and that wants to just work with you. You know, and the sales calls never felt like sales calls. They were just like, let's come up with a game plan. If it makes sense to work together, let's do it. You know, if not, no worries.
Those are the best sales calls, when it's a conversation that you have someone's interest in mind, and if they don't join you, part of that interest, like that's okay, right?
Yeah.
And so 20 people.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so the 20 people, they knew it was right for them at the end of that, right?
Yeah, there was no close, there was no overcoming objections. It was like, so what do you want to do from here? You know,
right?
You let me know. And that's the best kind of sales call, when there's no pressure. It doesn't feel like a sale. Yeah. It just feels like genuine conversation.
So Ron and I talk a lot about, if you are a coach, you should have a coach. And we've been very strategic over the last year and all the way through the next year with kind of some of that plan that for us. You mentioned a 7K program and a 30K program. Like, can you name, like, who do you have lined up? Who is still helping you grow to deliver the best for the people that you coach?
Yeah, so I work with I'm in Andrew Cruzy's 7-figure CEO program, which is the year-long one. I was in Authority Accelerator before that. I also worked with Cody Jefferson, which was also multiple 5 figures, to work with him, and that was for 3 months. But we still talk and chat and update each other to this day. So it feels like it's also a year-long program with him.
Nice.
But yeah, like it's that constant investment in yourself that's going to allow you to serve people at a higher level, and I didn't feel right charging, and this might be a limiting belief that I have, but like, I didn't feel right charging thousands of dollars unless I was first willing to invest way more than that myself.
100% agree on that.
Yeah. No, and Cody's good people. And, it's one of those things where you don't want to drink your own Kool-Aid. So having a coach helps you stay grounded. Right.
Right.
And it also helps you like keep getting new ideas. Right. And so like Corey and I talked about that strategic piece, because there was so many people out there that we can pick. Or like, we're like, okay, who's helped what we're trying to do, and who do we resonate with? Right. So that's why we picked the people that we're working with. And that's changed how we approach what we do and how we're able to serve the people we're trying to serve as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of coaches out there, and you're absolutely right. Like, you got to pick somebody you resonate with, somebody who has built the type of business that you want to build. And just so you can kind of see the inner workings of it. Like, how do they deliver this thing? How many calls are they doing? What are they offering? How do they structure the program?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many good people. Like, I wish we could have a different coach every day. But you don't get very far when you have too many voices in your head. So,
paths.
Yeah. All right, Mario. So I want to ask my favorite question. I want to ask about hindsight, because, hindsight's 2020. We all know if we had the ability to, with perfect hindsight, that we could go back and change things. Things could be world of difference, could be better sooner, whatever it might be. So if you had that ability, if you could go back and give yourself a little bit of advice to a younger Mario, what would you say? What would you give? And when would you go back to?
So this goes far back, but I would go back to 20-year-old me, which was 9 years ago. And I would tell myself to start teaching back then, to start coaching and creating, start entering this info marketing space back then, because I had a multi 5-figure a month company when I was 18, 19, and 20. I was just doing singlets. I was doing wrestling uniforms for club teams around the state. I had a manufacturer in China printing them all. And I had a process on like how to attract clients, how to sell them into the thing, how to deliver, how to, fulfill, all that stuff. And I taught it to one other business, and that business now is a multi-million-dollar business. They do multi 7 figures a year. And I left the business because it became overwhelming. It grew too big through just word of mouth. I wasn't even doing any marketing. I was mostly active in forums. So I would say definitely learn operations. I would try to learn operations as early as possible, learn how to hire as early as possible, and then learn how to teach what I know better, and charge for it. Because I taught that guy for free over a coffee, over a coffee talk. And we were in the coffee place for like 5 hours. They wanted to kick us out because they were closing. But
can I get a little kickback from that conversation? Come on.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I'd be talking to him again real quick.
Yeah, it was interesting. We sat down. This guy was interested in partnering with me, 50-50. He was like a business banker. Like, he would give business loans out to companies. Like, we can back you with all the finances you need, but you are like the talent. You're like the creative. He's like, I'll take care of all the operations. I'll take care of everything. You just worry about designing. And I was so overwhelmed and burned out at that point that I was like, dude, I'm just going to teach you everything I know, and you go and run with it, because I'm out of this. I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, just here. I gave him all the list of suppliers I was using, all the teams I was working with, any designers that I knew that were just as good as I was. And they now, like, he just kind of took that and ran with it. Like, he got a website up. My website was up, but it just like had a simple email form on there. And now he's partnered with MMA fighters, with big teams. I was doing work for like the Olympic team back then. I designed Olympic singlets back then.
Nice.
The U.S. Olympic team. That's when it blew up too big, because they announced me at a big event. They're like, oh, the singlets were designed by so-and-so. And there's like, my whole company blew up overnight. I had to turn away like 300 orders the next.
Oh my gosh.
The next week. Yeah. 300 orders back then was like
life-changing.
7 figures. It was 7 figures in a week. It was insane.
Wow.
I had to refund it all. I was like, nope, can't do it. I'm gonna die if I do it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I've seen similar stories around Pogs. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had multiple $1 million contracts sold, and they couldn't figure out how to put it in a cereal box, so it got stalled. I hate those things. But anyway, different story. So we kind of knew what you've done. What are you doing like now, and where are you going? What's next?
So I'm still doing group coaching. I'm still helping people. I'm focused more nowadays less on the sales and marketing side of things. And I'm focused more on the art of coaching, not the business of coaching. Business of coaching is, I feel like, what everybody focuses on. They're like, how to do sales and marketing. I'm like, if you only teach that, you just get a bunch of great sales and marketers and not that many good coaches. You just have a bunch of people teaching, doing basically the delivery and quality stops once they pay you. And it's just like kind of crappy after that. So I'm focused more on like how to increase results for my clients, how to really refine my processes so they're only results oriented. And then building skills on top of the results too, because I feel like I've spent a lifetime building skills that prepared me for that first 10K month. Like, I did my e-covers, I did my own copywriting, I did everything myself. And that was because I spent most of my life learning how to write. I was a designer. I knew all these programs. I was prepared. So I want people to become more prepared for the opportunities that they're going to have, and not just give them templates and stuff and be like, all right, here, go get results. Because then you're not preparing people for to be their own bosses, their own business owners, their own coaches.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm focused on now, is just getting results, but also teaching skills in a foundational type of way.
That's so good. So good. And at the end of the day, like you said, it's one thing to teach the sales process, but if you stop there, then honestly, you're taking sales out of your pockets because the best buyers are the ones that have already paid you when you fulfill on them at a high degree, right?
Right.
So if you take care of them and if you teach people how to take care of those clients that they already have, then the value of each client, is 10x. And so that is so key and crucial that you're sticking to that for your people. So right now, I assume you have a couple of little offers out there, but then you've got like your main. Is it group coaching? Or is it one-on-one? Is it 10 people, 30? Like where's kind of your plan and with all that?
So group coaching wise, I limit it to 20 spots just so I can make sure I serve everybody at a high level. Anything above that, I feel like I lose track of where my clients are and what they're doing. So I still have spots available for that. And then one-on-one, I don't really offer. It's only like under very special circumstances that I like allow somebody to work with me one-on-one. Like it has to be a great fit personality wise. Cause I've done one-on-one before where it wasn't, and it is life draining. It sucks so bad. So I actually only have one-on-one client right now, and he's crushing it. He just had a 7K week in our second week working together.
Nice.
And this is a guy who like has done, he's done 5-figure months before, but it's been scattered, and it's been like with like 7 different offers, and we just created one offer, and he's done 7K this week with it. And he's crushing it. He's just he's kind of like me. He's a relentless implementer and doesn't stop going, and he works a full-time job, which is kind of crazy too. But yeah, those are the offers.
Nice.
Funny enough too, real quick, like what we just talked about, that whole focused on quality thing, that is the best marketing tool of all. If your quality is good, that's how my business grew when I was 18, 19, and 20. Like I was a great designer. The stuff I produced was awesome. People wore it at tournaments. The Olympic team hired me to do their work for them, for a memorial event. And I did no marketing. It was all word of mouth. Everybody just found out who I was just because the quality was so good. Like they would ask, yo, who designed those? Can we have his number? And that's, if you focus on quality first, everything else just falls into place.
True. No, that's, our agency, we haven't advertised once for our agency, and it's just keeps going and going and going through word of mouth. Cause we truly take care of our clients, and we approach them very similar to you. We have a higher ticket thing. It's like, there's 5 people. That's all we want. Right. Because how we're serving those 5 people, like that's enough. Right. But we want to interview them and make sure it's a good fit, because we've also had those drainies where it's difficult. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it's hard for you to understand that affects your other clients, because that affects you and that affects your home life as well. Right. And we all got into this world to have freedom.
Right.
And choose who we want to work with. Right.
Exactly.
So that's huge. All right. So,
so one quick question. I'm interrupting you.
Oh yeah.
How old's your little one now?
She's going to be 10 months in a week.
Nice.
She's growing.
So everyone's sleeping in the house again by now, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're all getting plenty of sleep now.
Nice.
We weren't. Nice. You're wrong.
You're welcome. No, I just had my first nephew born, and I was over there yesterday helping paint the house, and they're not sleeping yet. It's like he's 2 weeks old.
Yeah, no, they're up for 2 hours.
Yeah. No.
Taking shifts.
Yeah, no, but so obviously family, how are you balancing the two? Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are working from home, like Corey and I. It's difficult sometimes. So how do you balance those two worlds?
By setting very tight boundaries around my time. Like I schedule time for my girl and my family. I schedule time for them, and nothing else interrupts that time. I don't text people with that are having problems in their businesses. I don't worry about my clients during that time. I don't worry about my business at the time. And it's a little lesson that I learned from one of the coaches in Andrew's program, Avery. He's like, their problems are still going to be there at 9 a.m. when you get to work. Then, A fire on their part does not constitute an emergency on yours. If they have an emergency, it's their emergency. It's like, because as coaches, we get so tied to like our clients' problems and results that we don't know how to disconnect, you know?
Yeah.
And I've learned that I can't have priorities. I just have a priority. At any given moment, I have a priority, and it's the only thing I'm focused on. If I have priorities, then I'm constantly shifting from thing to thing. But morning time until 10 a.m., my family's my priority. After 6:30 p.m., my family's my priority. Nothing else gets in the way. You know, the world, somebody could be losing everything that they have, and I might have the solution to fix it. But if it's after 6:30, it's not my problem.
I love
it.
it.
You know,
I love it.
And
so I often get the call, "Hey, did you see this fire?"
I don't know who does that.
And I'm like, no, I haven't looked at that fire yet. I don't wait till 10. But
are you tattling? I think you're tattling.
I try to wait a little bit. All right. I got one more question for you, Mario. You have been able to do some amazing things over the last 18 months. So if you were to give one piece of advice for somebody just starting out like you did from OFA or something similar, right? Like they are just trying to work this way into an online space. What's that one piece of advice you'd give them?
Get really freaking good at what you do. That's literally it. Like get so good that they can't ignore you. And I think that's like the most important thing, because nobody teaches that. Everybody's like, just get good at sales and marketing. You don't have to be that great at what you do. Just get good at sales and marketing. I'm like, that's the recipe for disaster. You know, so get really good at what you do and showcase it as often as you possibly can. You know,
love it.
That's it.
That's it. So many takeaways.
Struggles.
So many takeaways from this episode. Yeah, love it. All right,
a lot of fun, guys.
Well, no, this has been a blast. We're super excited you're here. I know I've been taking notes, and I usually come up with two takeaways after every episode, so it's gonna be difficult this time because there's a lot. But I know the people out there listening, like you resonated with our listeners, and they're like, "Hey, how do I get involved? Where can they go to find you?"
They can go to facebook.com/MPAJAJ. It's my first initial last name. You guys can link it in the show notes or however you do it.
Yep.
Just add me on Facebook. Send me a message. You know, let me know what you're up to, how I can help, and let's start a conversation.
Perfect. I'm sure many will. I know you and I are connected, and we need to have some more conversations in the future because I love this, Mario. So thanks again for joining us. It's been a blast, and I love getting to know you a little bit here, man.
Yeah, this was awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mario.
All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. As Ron was talking about, 2 takeaways is going to be difficult for him. So let's give him a little second. Maybe I'll add a third. We'll see. What do you got, Ron?
Oh my gosh. Well, what's crazy is now that we do these live, like I don't have time to think about it. Right. So it's like, I'm writing these down. I'm like, yeah, that was good. And then I cross it out. I'm like, oh, that was good. Now I'll cross that out. So, all right. So a couple that resonated with me that I'm going to keep, and I'm not going to use his last one he just gave, even though that was like pure gold. But I am going to talk about the blocking your time for your family. All right. Because you and I just started talking about this and I started trying it. I'm bad at it. Because my wife listens to the show. Sorry, honey. So I'm working on it. Right.
Right.
Trying. But takeaway number 1, make sure you are blocking time for the most important thing that is to you. So if you're only blocking time for your business, guess what? Your actions speak louder than your words. That becomes the most important thing to your family. They notice it. So your family, make sure you're blocking time for it. And I'm going to go with, I have like 2 other ones, so it's hard. I'm going to pick this one. Let's go with teach what you know and get paid for it.
That's a good one. Teach what you know and get paid for it. All right. So I'm going to give one that Mario talked about early on in the show, and that is just be freaking relentless. Like if you want something, be relentless and go get it, right? Like working 16-hour days until you achieve what you need to achieve. Like if you want something bad enough, then go be relentless to get there. But all right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, if you haven't seen us in our Facebook group, because I know we're live in multiple places, come on over, facebook.com/groups/now22. And by the way, October 26th, we do have a free 5-day workshop coming up, 5 free days of learning how to get more visibility, get more traffic, and ultimately what we all need is get more sales. What do you think, Ron?
I love it, guys. And thank you for being the best part of the Hindsight Hackers community.